In this video, we're going to take a look at the Twsbi Vac Mini. Let's jump straight to the end with my thoughts on this pen. I find this pen to be fairly comfortable to write with most of the time, even though I have a tendency to rest my fingers while writing on the threads. But I don't find them to be a distraction for me while I'm writing, but I do feel them. Now, that's really a user error on me. I'm holding the pen farther back for my comfort, and that's not really a problem. It does have a need with being small to be posted in order to use comfortably, and we'll talk about that at the posting part. I find the writing experience with this pen to be well above what you pay to get a hold of it. And if this is your first venture into a vacuum filler, it is a great way to experience that. It gives a nice writing experience, a large ink capacity. The girth makes it comfortable in the hand. It is an all-around enjoyable pen. Now, I have had a cracked body with one of these, but that was a long time ago, and I only bring it up because it did happen. That being said, I contacted Twsbi at that time, and they sent another one out for like $3 shipping. So, win. Now that we know how I feel about the Twsbi Vac Mini, let's see how I got to that opinion, starting with the unboxing. The Twsbi Vac Mini came in a box like this, which contained a box like this. I appreciate the economy of the Twsbi packaging. The fact that they use the same packaging for so many pens really helps cut down on their cost, which is one of the reasons that the Twsbis themselves are so affordable and really should be looked at when you're looking to try different filling systems, like for a first vacuum or a first piston. With the pen out of the box, we need to get to the nib. And as long as it doesn't take 20 turns to uncap a pen, I'm generally okay. But how many turns does it take to uncap this pen? The Twsbi Vac Mini takes 1.5 turns to uncap. 1.5 turns to uncap isn't excessive. It's not really a big deal. The most noticeable thing is if you care about how the clip lines up with the nib because it is transparent, you have to make sure that you actually line it up properly or it's going to look upside down. But for me, that's not really a problem. This gets us to the nib. This pen has a steel fine nib. One of the things about the nib for Twsbi pens that I really think is overlooked is the fact that they have their branding on the nib. It looks really good on there, and it's not minimal in its design. They've got the full design there, easy to see, and a lot of companies just go with a simple letter or simple image. This is not simple looking at all. Very nice. If you enjoy videos like this, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. Now, let's ink this pen up. The Twsbi Vac Mini is a vacuum filler that holds approximately 2 milliliters of ink. The ink for today is Pilot's 100th Anniversary Light Blue. Being a vacuum filler that holds so much ink, this pen can really last you for a few days if you're a big writer like I am, without the need to constantly refill it. Now, I do think you can comfortably use it for long writing sessions, which makes that very large ink capacity another bonus for this pen. As a habit, I don't normally post my pens, But some people prefer to post their pens, and some pens need to be posted in order to be used comfortably. It does post. It is a screw to post, and just like the Vac Mini, you have to pay attention because you can get the clip underneath, which would be bothersome in your hand. So instead, as you post, if I can just do it, get the clip to be on top. It's not going to be a problem. Plenty large enough in the hand. Posted. For me, I find I can't use this pen even for just jotting some things down unposted. It seems like it should be long enough, but as I go when I'm writing and I'm moving a little bit, it just seems to sometimes, I don't know, feel like it's hung up on my own hand. Now, the important part, the writing sample. As I stated, I really do enjoy the writing experience with this pen, but the thing about it is, in order for me to use it comfortably, I have to post it. It's a screw to post. For some people, that really does bother them. And just like with the capping, you have to make sure that you orientate the cap properly to have the clip up, or it's down into your hand. Again, not really a problem for me. Not any kind of a deal breaker. It's still really good. You do have to post it to use it comfortably while writing. With that, some people may not feel that need with this pen if they have smaller hands. The writing itself is a little feedbacky, but not in any kind of a bad way. You can smooth it very easily. Now, I find the nib to be very rigid, which I don't mind rigid nibs, but if you think you're going to really squeeze out some line variation, you're going to struggle at that a little bit. It is a smaller nib, about a 5.5, which means they tend to be a little bit more stiff. Still, it writes well. It doesn't make my hand cramp. It is just comfortable to use. When I've gone to trainings and been writing page after page in a single session, I don't have any kind of a problem for it. And when I sit down and I write for myself, I use this pen from time to time because of its large ink capacity. There are just so many advantages with this pen that the only disadvantage that you could have for it is the fact that it has a plastic body. That is one of the things that allows Twsbi to keep the cost down, which then we have to talk about the cost. The fact that they keep all of their pens so incredibly affordable really does put them at the tip of the market. I think Twsbi as a brand is where most people really should be looking at when they're trying to get a little bit nicer pen, but still at what we consider a starter value in dollars. One thing to be aware of is when you are writing with this pen, make sure that you unscrew the cap at the back, opening up the ink chamber. Now for something a bit more standard in comparing writing size. I use Mnemosyne Blue to do this, and here's how it compares to a Jowo Extra Fine on the left, a medium in the middle, and a 1.1 stub on the right. There was no surprise when it came to the width writing with this pen. A fine writes as a fine, a medium as a medium. I haven't had a broad, and when I tried their stub, I found it abysmal. That being said, I think for the standard round nibs, that Twsbi really puts out a great product. So how does this nib compare to other nibs I've used? Looking at the writing of a Twsbi Vac Mini with a fine nib, here it is next to a Twsbi Mini with a fine nib. Expect those to be the same. A Kaweco Transparent 475 with a vintage Flex fine nib. A Hero 7035 with a fine nib. A Waterman Graduate with a fine nib. And a Kaweco Brass Sport also with a fine nib. So it isn't a review without some size comparison. Here it is capped. Here it is uncapped. And here it is posted. To look at this pen as a size means really to spend the time looking at it posted while you're using it. And posted, it is a really normal sized pen. Comfortable in the hand, not any kind of a problem. The fact that it gets much smaller, almost to the point of a pocket pen, which I see no reason it can't be, is a really good thing. Let's clean this pen now that it's dirty. Be sure to check out the next pen review when we take a look at the Sailor Riello. If you want to be able to support not just my channel, but any reviewer, then when you make a purchase, be sure to tell that retailer where you heard about it. Thanks for watching.